Good morning. My name is Kirsty Dignam, and if you found me from a group on Facebook or Instagram or work that we've done together, hello and welcome back. And if you're new to this and new to this channel or new to me, again, hello, welcome back. So there comes a point in our lives where we end up crossing the paths of those that are destined to help us move forward. So I firmly believe if you are here for the first time, it was always meant to be. So welcome. Today I'm going to do a quick video. I would say looking into the energies of the solstice, and I know in the sky there's a big conjunction going on. I think it's between Saturn and Jupiter, and I don't know. I honestly don't know. I know it's big. I can feel that it's big. I felt that at the beginning of this year. I felt that back in 2012, 2008, and that feels like the emphasis. What do you actually feel? I adore astrology, and it goes way over my head to an extent where it belongs for me in the stars, giving me something to look up to, but also something that I can associate with my own feelings and see if I tally with what's going on around me. For me, the message today really clearly feels like looking up at the stars, but making sure that we don't trip. So also being very aware of our feet on the ground. On a larger scale, being aware of what is going on, but applying that to life, bringing that energy down and applying that to life. So it's the solstice, and where I am, it is the longest day and the longest night and the shortest day. Yes, the longest night and the shortest day. Basically, the light is returning. And with that, I have to stop. I find myself pausing and stopping. Is that right? Is that how I feel? At the moment, in all honesty, no, but not because I don't feel a huge influx of light, not because I feel as if I'm sat in darkness, but just because it just feels like they've merged into one, into me. And for me personally, that is the return of the light, knowing that there's no real separation or polarity. And that's going to be different for everybody. So when we talk about returning of the light, what is the light to you? What brings light into your life? What helps you know what you're feeling outside, but also align with that inside and bring that into everything that you do? What is your connection to the light? And that is different for everybody. Globally, on a higher conscious level, it's the same, but individually it's going to be different. So for some, this time round, our purpose is employment or family or spirituality, or we know what we're here to achieve, and it's that gives us light. Keep that in your focus and apply that to your everyday things. When we look outside of ourselves for the light, when it is a job or a alignment of certain stars, a religious figure or a guru, or anything outside of us is always going to leave us feeling slightly lacking, because it is about how we apply to ourselves what it is we're searching for. Everything externally is a trigger. So if we are in the solstice and the return of the light, how can you do that yourself? How can you return that light to yourself? So for me personally, it is knowing that there is no light without darkness. There is no darkness without light, that they are one and the same, densities of the same thing. And that lightens me up. That gives me almost permission to not be okay sometimes, and to feel lower than I would wish to feel, but to acknowledge that that is also part of the journey of the light. just like the solstice, just like the sun and moon, just like the cycles of life, that death and darkness is part of the rebirth and the light. When we have that within us, that natural flow within us, not only do we stop over giving or holding back based on what we are given, we reach a balance internally which can be reflected externally. We hold space for ourselves and what it is we are trying to achieve. So yesterday I had the incredible honour of performing dispatcho, chakra, shaman, however you want to pronounce these words. What was important to me was how I actually applied dispatcho. And I was blessed to do that in a group of incredible women, holding space, but also performing my own. And when I do dispatcho, even though it is focused intent, I tend to open up to more of a collective feel. So if you were to ask me, what did you ask for? Yeah, there's only a few things I can actually remember from the process. It was more about stepping into how I wished to feel and how I wished the world to feel, and blowing that into the dispatcho, into the kintu, into the prayers. And everybody's different when they do this, but this is my process. Burning dispatcho, I put a thing on Facebook and an offering for anybody that would like to put wishes into the fire. And there were so many, so thank you, but so many. But again, it is reflecting back. What is it we are praying for? What is it we are wishing for? Are we doing that ourselves? So with kintu, with dispatcho, I can pick up the leaves or the gifts or the offerings and connect and ask for peace. And I can feel very much the opposite. Or I can align myself to what I'm trying to achieve and blow that into the kintu. And that's how I personally work. When we align to what it is we are trying to achieve, it just becomes a lot more graceful. What we're trying to deliver becomes a lot more graceful and with ease. So the planets in the sky right now, we have one that contracts and one that expands. It reminds me of labour. It reminds me of contracting what we no longer need in order so that we can expand and be born into the next level. Sometimes we have that skew-if. Sometimes we can contract what it is we're trying to be and expand into the ego and everything that we're trying not to be. Ultimately, beyond that, it's knowing that eventually they will be one of the same process. So we can get incredibly uncomfortable hiding what it is we want to be, who it is we actually are, until eventually something will just expand and blow out. Okay, and eventually our true colours will shine. Or we can expand who we are, and slowly but surely with gratitude, and that feels really important, with gratitude to our ego self, to our shadow aspects, allowing that to contract so that that light can be returned. So our ego, our shadow, they are still part of ourself, and I'm often with people, holding space for people that have tried to diminish and remove their shadow or their ego. And when we branch pieces of ourselves off, when we cut pieces of ourselves out, we're very likely to experience soul disassociation. So there are parts of ourselves that we may not like as much as others. And when we do that and we push that to one side, we put something in the place which is genuinely a mask of how we are. It is incredibly difficult to be who we are in each moment. And it takes great courage, but it also takes great unconditional love. And an awareness that the light is the dark and that the dark is the light. To take it one level up now, to go beyond Saturn and restriction and Jupiter and expansion, and see them for the one beautiful labour of love that they are. Then no one power, color, density has power over the other because they are one and the same, and they become a reactive force. And that's what we are. That's when we become empowered, because that's when we choose how to react. And a quick swig of my tea, 10 minutes. So the last few days, the area that I live is tier 2, but my mother, who's incredibly ill, is in tier 4. My husband's shop, which he opened less than a year ago, has gone into tier 4 and is in lockdown, click and collect again for the 3rd time this year. And I've just driven him to work to sort out some collections, thankfully, and all on the motorway we have tier 4 stay home. All routes to France closed, and I'm aware that a lot of countries have now shut their doors to us, and there is a lot going on. And yes, there is part of me, of course there is, that feels, how much more can we take? Of course there is. This is labour, this is delivery, this is contractions, this is that expansion and that restriction. But nobody can decide how I react to that. Nobody can decide the amount of light that I choose to step into. Now I can go into my shadow, and that is valuable. That is valid as well, and I can find secrets and treasures there that I maybe haven't seen. So for argument's sake, this morning I felt quite, not angry, but passionate that today I'm going to send some healing and prayers and light out there. And that came from a more shadow aspect, from a, oh, what are we doing? Right, this isn't good enough. This is how I'm going to react. Or I can be at peace in the more lighter aspect and know that this too will pass. So for me personally, I meet in the middle. I witness, I observe with non-attachment, and I light a candle and I just send love. Not to fix anything, not to change anything, because in the big scheme of things, I don't know what is best for the world. I don't know what is best for me some days, let alone what is best for the world. But I do know that love feels incredible. I do know that love is a beautiful thing. I do know in the hardest times in my life, it is love that has got me through, not my paycheck, not my career, not my profession. Love has got me through. And I do know that love, oxytocin, helps all labours with ease and with grace. So today I will light a candle, and the light returning will be love. One thing I did pick up in yesterday's dispatcho was my own health, to look at my own physical health. And again, it is bringing things back to what we can do in each moment. What can you do about the stars aligning? What can you do about being in tier 4? What can you do about your business closing down for the time being? What else can you be doing? What else has been on the back of your list for perhaps too long that you need to now look at? We can really concentrate on the things that we can't do. Or we can take this opportunity, just like at the beginning of the year, because we're ending the cycle how we started, and look at the things that we can do. So for me, it is going to be concentrating on my physical health and taking that up another level, which I'm actually looking forward to. I feel ready. I feel this year has taken a lot of stuff that I no longer need out of my focus and attention, so that I can concentrate on the things that I do need. First and foremost, a physical body. Without that, none of this is relevant, including the stars in the sky or what we do for a living. So yeah, taking this time to be with your body, to nurture your body, to give it what it needs, to try and avoid the over excess this time of year, and in particular with everything going on. Just listen to your body, okay, and take care of it. The other thing that came through was the presence of a horse in my own despacho. The presence of a horse coming to work with. Now, fingers crossed that could be physically, which would be wonderful, but it could also be energetically and spiritually. So spirit horse, incredible, incredible energy. And I've just realized, I think Chief Avril Looking Horse is also doing a talk on the solstice, obviously named after horses for their energy, for their guide, and the power that they bring as a power animal. So horses have 4 feet on the floor, and they remind me of the elements. They have the wind in their hair, and they are so connected to the earth. And yet when they run, they have the freedom of thunder and rain, and the fire and the passion. They have incredible power and the biggest hearts. So it feels relevant to bring in the energy of the horse. So what I'm going to do is actually look at some cards for Way of the Horse, which are oracle cards, but incredible, incredible energy. If I can get them open. Okay. Horses have an incredible ability to stand and be. You can watch them for hours on end. They will eat grass and just stand there. And if you're honored to stand in their presence, the healing that can come from being in that moment. I'm saying a lot of incredibles, but it's incredible. Okay. Which feels like a message in itself for this solstice. So I'm drawn to pick 2 cards, one of which is actually upside down, and it's 33 that's upside down, which is the master number. And there's one underneath. Now, the master number 33, it's mirrored as well. Yes, 3, the bursts that you give out are the bursts that are going to come back. 3 is 2 and 1 together, singularity and then union together, which creates a new beginning, a birth. Okay, so you're talking the Empress in the tarot card, but 33 is also Christ consciousness. And mastery, self-mastery in these moments. So this horse is literally walking through the flames, this transformation. Today when I was driving, regardless what was going on around me, I started to look out for messages, which is whenever I'm on a vision quest, whenever I'm outside the house, everything is communication. If you're observant, if you witness through the eyes of a shaman. And I'm driving along and I drive past a van that's got Mount Joy written on. And then another one with a number plate 444G0Y, 444 Joy. And then finally another van that had Phoenix Rising written on it. And I look at this card now, and now I actually see all the other horses behind this one at the front in these flames. And I feel like being the joy so that others can follow. Now, that doesn't mean not acknowledging what you're feeling or covering up your feelings and making them something that they're not, but feeling the joy of feeling, which can be really hard at the moment. I understand that, but that is part of the process of being human. Every tight restriction that you feel is going to lead to an expansion. That's how the world works. Every contraction that you get is going to lead to the delivery of something new. Every ending is going to lead to a beginning. Feel that. The sooner you feel into it, the sooner your body becomes the medicine wheel that it is and helps you shift to the next level. So feel into that. Surrender to that. Walk through the fire. Become your own transformation and your own light. Help others to do the same by applying it to everything that you do. Applying it to your life. Yes, the stars are doing something. Yes, there's a full moon. Yes, there's, it's some reports are it hasn't been like this for 200 years, 400 years, 800 years, 2000 years. It's the Star of Bethlehem. It's the return of Christ. It's absolutely, it's a cycle. It's that we remember. It's a cycle. It's a purification. It's a death and a rebirth, and it's the flames that we must all walk through in our own way, with whatever hope and faith keeps you going through that, ultimately knowing only you can do it. So 33. Underneath 33, the moment I turned it up the right way, is the card 29, which adds up to 11. But also we have 2 and 9. We have almost that ending of the polarities here. Okay, almost that ending of the separation here. And this horse that looks like he's in the shadow, dancing on his own, but actually surrounded by such light. It is incredibly hard to be, well, even saying hard is giving it a an assumption, but actually no, let's do that. Let's say what we feel. Let's say how it is coming across. It is hard. It has been hard. Labor, delivery, life, birth, death. It's hard. We do feel. Yeah, we do feel. And sometimes it can feel like we are alone in the darkness. Sometimes it can feel like there is no light and that we're almost fighting a cause on our own, or misunderstood, or yeah, sometimes we can really feel like this. But all it takes is for us to look up. Just look up, because that light is there. Without the light, there would be no darkness. It wouldn't exist. Without polarities, we wouldn't be able to call anything anything. So can you imagine if we didn't know the word light, and we didn't know the word dark, and we didn't know the word evil or good or bad, and we felt, we would feel what to stay away from. We would feel what to go towards, just like a horse. Animals are, in my opinion, incorrectly labelled as not very intelligent, because they don't analyze their feelings. They don't give them names or questions, but they feel, and they feel on a level of emotional intelligence, which helps them to keep moving forward, which helps them to survive, which helps them to shrug off what has happened and continue to eat. Yeah, and so not even survive, but thrive as a species. If animals hung on to everything that they went through, every time they were chased, every time they were hunted, they would constantly be like humans, in fight or flight. So there's a lot to learn from our animals. Okay. So next to that we have card 15. Look at the power and the presence there. The nostrils are flared, the ears are up. This creature is alert and ready, not attacking, not hiding, but alert and ready. Yeah, and we're talking 15. So we are talking devil in the tarot card, but also the magician and the hierophant, which feels really relevant for not only this energy, but next year's energy. Standing between what is and what is to come. Learning from your own lessons by applying them to life. If we get too caught up in the separation, we become weaker. And there is a chance then for others to come in and tell us what to do, because we don't know. We don't know what we feel anymore, because we've separated ourselves from our feelings, our shadows, our fears, our joy. Yeah. Today, feel everything. Let that be the light. Let that bring awareness. Move into the east part of your own medicine wheel, and let that higher consciousness come down from the stars to bring awareness to your life, areas that you need to look at in your life or feel in your life, so that you can then move into the south and have the healing, release what no longer serves you, and then move into the west and complete your own cycle and let go of what no longer serves you through the lessons that you give and the teachings that you pass forward for yourself and for others, and how you apply it to life. So underneath is 13. And 13, yeah, I was just thinking about the goddess, and 22's underneath. I was just thinking about the goddess here. Okay, so the ability to create for yourself and for others, the 1 and the 3. All right, and this is such a beautiful. I want to see more of the horse and less of the clouds. That's what I want to see. I want to see personally more of the image of the horse and less of the stormy clouds. So for me, I want more peace and calm and connection and less mental energy. So that is what I will align to today. So the cards do come with a book. And there's nothing right or wrong with looking up meanings of things. I like to go with my own first. If it tallies up, fantastic. If it doesn't, it's another perspective. Okay, everything that is in the book, whatever book you choose to base that on, is somebody's view and perspective and opinion of something. Yeah, so find your own as well by applying it to your life. So we will start with, I was going to say we'll start at the beginning, but no, we will start with 33. So we will start at the beginning. The Mastery card. And it's called Bonfire. And the book speaks of a sudden shift, clearing, releasing, and fuel for transformation. A rearing fire horse demands attention, drawing power from his blazing herd. Now, the gift with this card speaks of choice and circumstance, tremendous energy being available to burn through any blocks to a wider view. So everything that is going on right now, it can break you or make you. The choice is yours. The choice is yours. Okay. The challenge, it's no small task to stay present during intense outbursts of power, whether human, equine, or divinely inspired. Be ready to face areas of resistance that have grown into a volatile source of fuel for the fire. So today, I've been here. This is our third time that the shop has been shut down. This is our third time where we are looking at going into another lockdown, and we don't know where the finances are coming. And I've been here. We have been here. And we are still here. And it is that fuel that I will use for my own transformation. That trust that actually we are still standing. It may be with the shop. It may not be with the shop. It may lead to, my husband runs a CBD shop, a cannabis shop with oils and creams, and has a large clientele of older people that use the creams and the lotions and the oil for their own health, and people with mental health imbalances, things like that. So the next stage could very well be that he fights for this to be seen as an essential. Yeah, and that could be what this was all about for him. So it is, take that fuel. What are you feeling? What are you feeling? Let it be personal, but not to the point where you make it about you. See the bigger picture here and take that fuel and help yourself and others transform with it. If my husband goes for cannabis being an essential, that's a big thing. That's a big thing in society for it to finally be seen that way. So pick your battles, stand firm in them, and see the bigger picture there. I think that's all that needs to be said on that card. So 29 was the next card. There's lots and lots and lots of pages, and I do recommend getting this deck. I will show you again. It's beautiful, beautiful imagery. So Way of the Horse by Linda Kavanoff. Beautiful. And she also talks about the behaviours of horses, which is a journey in itself. As I talk, the next card is called Black Horse Wisdom. Yeah, so really connecting to the medicine of horses. A knowledge that defies logic, and it is. It really is. When we connect to the animals in particular, I do have a personal favourite for horses, but when we connect to animals and their messages, it is a knowledge that defies logic. Exploring what society suppresses or ignores. Treasure hidden in the darkness. A coal-black horse dances with her shadow under the light of the midnight moon. The gift of this, what appears to your conscious mind as darkness, is simply the unknown. Absolutely. A fruitful yet formidable realm of untapped possibility. Dancing with uncertainty raises your confidence and artistry in collaborating with the greater mysteries of life. So the challenge, obviously, is learning to ride the energy of what can't be explained. This involves taking courage, creativity, and well-honed instincts. Losing your balance now and then and wandering off course is part of the skill and the thrill of moving beyond what civilization has already mapped through reason, language, and social protocol. So yes, this dance of life, this dance of life, trusting that whatever is occurring right now is part of it. Whatever you're feeling right now is part of it. You might not know why or how, because you're in the unknown. We're all in the unknown, but it is part of it. So the human body, just like the world, just like life, is an ecosystem. And when we feel what we're feeling, it gives the brain and the body permission to then give us what we need. Whether that's pain relief, oxytocin, which is love, endorphins, serotonin, moving out of a dangerous situation, changing our mind about something and our perspective. It takes the trigger in order to do that. So we are in the unknown, but in the unknown, eventually we get to know. Okay, so it is just going through this process, sitting in the unknown, waiting for the light to return to give us awareness. The unknown is a space of higher consciousness. The unknown is where we meditate to get to. The unknown is where we long to return to at night when we want to go to sleep. It's only when we're awake during the day that we question, fear, and avoid the unknown. The unknown is what if? Yeah. So card 15. Vigilance. Nature's warning system. Anxiety associated with change, fear, or vulnerability. The white horse at the edge of the herd catches wind of possible danger. Is it time to flee, fight, relax, or go back to grazing? The gift. Fear is nature's warning system, protective intuition that, if used intelligently, can help safely navigate unknown territory on your way to greener pastures. Because most people are conditioned to see fear as a weakness, learning which fears to heed and which fears to overcome can become confusing. The key lies in determining whether you are dealing with a legitimate external threat or an internal threat, a challenge to your self-image or belief system. Okay, how many times do we do this knee-jerk reaction because something has occurred that makes us question our truth? When we question our truth, when anything is right or wrong, whether it's our own beliefs or each other or the universe or whatever, whenever anything is deemed as right or wrong, we go into fight or flight. We go into that alert. What? Well, if that's not right, then what about that? And what about that? And we actually become quite emotionally dissonant. Now, I don't mean emotionally dissonant as in we're not listening to what's going on. I don't mean emotionally dissonant as in we're not agreeing with everyone else. Again, I haven't got time for these conversations right now because I don't want to add fuel to it. What I mean is emotionally dissonant as in whatever we are feeling ourselves suddenly becomes a language we do not understand. And that's when we go into fight or flight. There are things coming up that we don't understand. There are revelations to come that will make us question the things that we know. Never let that be yourself. You know yourself. You have been in your body 41 years, 50 years, 20 years, 5 years, whatever. You have been in your body. You know yourself. If you're feeling fear, before you start to wonder why, acknowledge that you're feeling the fear. That's the first step to any communication. Otherwise, fear in itself snowballs. And we end up fearing the fear that we're feeling rather than the reason behind it. So really going into what you're feeling. Is it because your belief systems are being questioned? Go back to the unknown. What if? What if I'm not right about this? What if? I wonder what is beyond that. Yeah? But don't question the fear itself. Okay? Don't question what you're feeling. Allow yourself to feel. There's a wealth of knowledge in there. And lighten up. What I'm hearing is lighten it up. These feelings are crazy things. They're crazy things. I cannot see that that Pachamama would beat herself up because it was too windy. When we overthink things, that's what we do. I cannot see that Pachamama would get upset if it rained too much. When we're too emotional, that's what we do. So lighten up. Experience these incredible situations within you. And then 13, I actually wanted less clouds. So let's see what that is about. I just wanted to see more of the horse. I wanted to see more. There was so much more to it. There was a lot hidden. That's what I felt when I looked at that card. So 13, Sky of the Mind. Mental collection, mindfulness, imagination or fantasy. The paint horse's eyes reflect streaks of azure shining through flowing white clouds. When you become the master of your own mind, troubling thoughts come and go like clouds moving across a blue, clear sky. That's the gift, the challenge. To manifest anything significant, you must distinguish between fantasy and imagination. Attachment to the fantasy of what life should be obscures important information in the moment, leading to disillusionment and disappointment. Imagination, on the other hand, enhances reality, not so much changing it as expanding our perception of it, revealing a higher order. Really, really interesting, because as I was reading that, it felt like my whole mind just blocked over. Like, what? What? They're one and the same. I just don't get it. What? Look at what is going on right now, okay? And don't seep into fantasy. What is occurring is occurring. It is real and it is occurring. And that means with all theories, with all this is happening, this isn't happening, this is true, this isn't true, they're all true on a level of your own understanding. Okay, so don't get lost in one or the other as a fantasy. Explore them, investigate them. Yeah, go into your imagination. I wonder what this means. I wonder where this could go. Okay, rather than this is this is that, this is how it is, this is right, this is wrong. That's a real fantasy approach to life. Look at what's actually going on and your own impact in that. Okay. It feels like there's more to that card, and yeah, no doubt there is. No doubt there is. So what? More what? More imagination, more opportunities, more mindfulness, more exploration. We are investigating ourselves and each other and the world. There are things we might not like the look of. There are things that we might. But either way, it is about investigating, because there is more. There is more, and we can create more. Let me just sit with it. That's what I'm really clearly getting, what I want to do here. Just sit with it. Sit with it and see what comes up today, and I would say this week, but actually it feels like today, one day at a time, taking what you apply, what you know, and applying it to life. Okay, the card that has come out from the top is number 8, which is strength in the tarot card. And in this card, look at it. It's almost like she has become the guidance system within her, that black horse power and intelligence throughout the sands of time. Yeah, just beautiful. So I will look that up, and then I think 40 minutes is more than enough. We will call it. We will call it. Desert of Inspiration. Incubation and illumination, creative limbo. Hot desert winds blow across the sand, and as an artist and a horse merge with this stark, expansive landscape, we can see that sometimes doing nothing is more productive than doing something. Creative indolence leads to innovation. The challenge, the frustrating limbo between letting go of the old and giving birth to the new is an essential though uncomfortable law of nature. This is the calm before the storm. This is that moment in between contractions. This is that chance to crown without tearing yourself apart. There is a time to act, there is a time to be, there is a time to shed, there is a time to grow. Okay, and because the light is returning, doesn't mean we have to go out there and start expanding left, right, and center, and growing left, right, and pushing left, right, and center. Everything you've learned this year about trusting the cycle is to be applied every day, regardless what is going on in the sky. That contraction and expansion is happening continually with every breath, with every blink of the eye, with every menzi, with every night and every day, with every word. There is an old dying and a new being reborn. So when you think you're doing nothing, you're holding space for that incredible process for yourself and for others. Right now, in the unknown, it is the strongest thing you can do. Hold space for the unknown. Eventually the unknown will become known because that's a cycle, but not if we keep trying to make it known before it's ready. Hold space. Take care. Have a wonderful day, week, whatever, whenever I check in again. Take care. Bye.